Ladies and gentlemen, I am back, better, fresher than ever, and it is episode 41 of the Top Sweet Wrestling Podcast. Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, it is NXT Wargames Survivor Series edition of the Too Sweet Podcast. We're about to break all of it down, preview, picks, breakdowns, about to talk about all the storylines, all of the matches. Could have did two podcasts, but I just decided to combine it into one Survivor Series War Games. It's going down over the weekend. But before I get into that, you can find this podcast on Castbox at Too Sweet Wrestling Podcast. Castbox, you can find it on that website, castbox.fm. You can also find me on YouTube at OMGCoreyB and on YouTube at OMGCoreyB. You can also find me on Twitter at OMGCoreyB and at 2SweetPOD. So, it has been an interesting, newsworthy, crazy week of wrestling. What I thought was just going to be your regular old run-of-the-mill go-home show for SmackDown just turned into an ridiculously crazy night of newsworthy things. So I'm going to get into all of that. But first, we're going to hop into NXT War Games. And as I get myself together here, I cannot wait. I think this is the pay-per-view of the weekend. And I mean, before the Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles stuff came along, I didn't think anything was touching it. But now that we got Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, that all of a sudden that changed. It's just like, whoa. But we get into NXT War Games, and I think this is going to be a phenomenal pay-per-view. We only have 4 matches on the card, so that means we're going to be there for a few hours. Something has to get time. That means the matches are going to get a lot of times. More specifically, that War Games match, I think it's going to get a long amount of time. Personally, I think it's going to go for a half hour, but we'll see. So let's hop right on into the matches. Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black. This one is a very tough one to pick, actually, because I think this one can go either way. We have the storyline, Aleister Black. Who attacked Aleister Black? We all wondered who it was. You know, we all had our guesses, and it turned out to be Johnny Gargano. It was the best possible choice, the best possible pick they could have gone with, because it was just out of nowhere. I mean, sure, we had our doubts, you know, maybe it could be Gargano. What if they went down that line? But nobody, you think, nah, they're not going to go with a Gargano. They're going to be more safe and go with your typical heel. Guess again. It was Johnny Gargano, and we have ourselves quite the affair, quite the matchup. And I know it's going to get a lot of time. I just brought it up. Only 4 matches on the card, so that's going to get a bunch of time. I'm very much looking forward to it. As for your winner, I love this storyline. And Aleister Black's first match back, Johnny Gargano's first match up as a heel in this new role, so it's a very tough one to pick. But I am going to go with Aleister Black to exact revenge. I will see how it all plays out. I think that this could be something going forward. I don't think this is going to be this match in the end of the feud. I think this is going to be a lengthy feud. I'm hoping it's a lengthy feud because these guys can both go. I both enjoy watching them wrestling. They have their own different styles, but boy, can they go. I enjoy every bit of it. I am going with Aleister Black for the win. Next up, we have the Women's Championship on the line. Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane, a 2 out of 3 falls match. These ladies have phenomenal chemistry. Not much build up heading into from Evolution into Survivor Series, but the story is enough. We got the story already with Kairi Sane gaining the title and then losing it to Shayna Baszler. The 4 horsewomen coming about somewhat in NXT, and we have a stable with Shayna Baszler. And at this point, you just put the title on Shayna Baszler. You just formed 3/4 of the 4 horsewomen. So there's really no reason to take the belt off of Shayna Baszler right now, unless they're gonna call her up. And I'm watching on Periscope right now. I see what's up, man. Love WWE. Yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan. Not as big as before, but I love it too, man. I love it. Love wrestling. Love interacting with fellow wrestling fans as well. But moving back on into the breakdown here, Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. No reason to take the title off of Shayna Baszler here unless you're going to call her up, to which I don't think they're going to go do that anytime soon. Shayna Baszler has a long run in her with her fellow horsewomen before she gets called up. So with that being said, your winner, Shayna Baszler, will retain the title here. And this may or may not be the final match of this feud. I'd like it to go further. We'll see how it all plays out. So next up, we have the NXT Championship on the line. Tommaso Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream. And I gotta say, this is a feud that I didn't see coming. Before they started planting the seeds to it, I never would have guessed that at NXT Wargames we would have had Tommaso Ciampa go off against Velveteen Dream. Maybe Ciampa versus Black. I would have thought they would have gone that route, but they didn't. So we have Velveteen Dream vying for the title, and I think it's a phenomenal idea. Velveteen Dream is on a roll. I enjoy every bit of the guy. Look, this is going to be a phenomenal match because both of these guys are going. That's just the whole card. All 4 matches is going to be phenomenal because everybody involved in all 4 of these matches can really go. And the title still remains in this instance as well. Tommaso Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream. I expect a phenomenal match. This could be a one-off. Maybe it's not. We'll see how it goes going forward, but I expect a phenomenal match. As for your winner, look, I love Velveteen Dream just as much as the next person. I see star all over the guy just like everybody else does, but it's not time yet. Not Velveteen Dream's time yet. He's going to be a champion sometime soon. It's just not time yet. It's not time to put the title on him, not time to call him up, and even more importantly, it's not time to take that title off of Tommaso Ciampa yet. He's having a phenomenal reign, and the reign will continue as Tommaso Ciampa will retain the NXT Championship. So, moving on to the last matchup, we have NXT Wargames, the Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders versus Ricochet and Pete Dunne. So, this all came about after the big brawl, had a big brouhaha, big ruckus, and the match, the War Games match was made. I really enjoy War Games when it's 2 teams instead of 3, so I enjoyed this very much. And look, it is going to be a phenomenal match. Going to be half an hour. The War Games match last year, it was so phenomenal. But last year, you know, it was the first time War Games first came back. I never thought WWE would bring it back. Well, WWE technically didn't bring it back. It's an NXT thing. So I was surprised to see it back. And it was wonderful last year. It lived up to the billing. I'm pretty sure with the guys that we got in this ring, it's going to live up to the billing again this year. Going to be a phenomenal matchup. So I'm very much looking forward to it. As for the result of the match, it could go either way. I love all of these guys involved here. Undisputed Era got the win last year at War Games. I don't think they're going to go with the Undisputed Era 2 years in a row. So with that being said, I expect a phenomenal match. But your winners will be the War Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne. Look, spot after high spot after high spot. I mean, look at the names in the ring. Ricochet, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne. The list goes on and on and on. This is going to be a phenomenal match, so I'm going to enjoy every bit of it. I may even do a reaction video to it, so stay tuned for it. That's going to be Saturday, depending on what kind of time I have. I may or may not have some reaction videos up for NXT Wargames and Survivor Series as well. So speaking of Survivor Series, as I get a drink right there, I need a sip. Speaking of Survivor Series, we're about to hop right on into this. Moving on from War Games into Survivor Series. Look, I had a lot less interest in Survivor Series than I did until that main event happened on SmackDown. I was looking at Survivor Series like, oh, okay, it's Survivor Series. It doesn't matter. No, nothing's gonna happen. It's not important. You know, I'm just ready for War Games. And then Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles happened, and it just left me here with a shocked look on my face. I wish I would have did a reaction video. I was just sitting here like, oh my God. Like, just AJ Styles is just off the card. AJ Styles is off the card. The face that runs the place, AJ Styles, he's off the card. AJ Styles cannot be off this card. AJ Styles has to get involved in some way. I'll get to that later. But as to not waste any more time, we're going to start with the Survivor Series card. First up, we have the tag team face-off AOP versus The Bar. This is one of the tougher matches to predict here, but I expect a phenomenal match. Both teams, we talking about four guys, the new age big guys, specifically Cesaro. The new age big guys that can fly around, that can be big, be tough. The larger than life guys that can be big, be tough, and fly around like cruiserweights. I mean, this is the cruiserweight generation. It is what it is. Big larger than life characters wasn't always like that when I was watching wrestling. But these are guys that can just move around, that are athletic. All of these guys are big guys that can move around. So I expect a phenomenal match. At the end of the day, I'm going to go with the team that can use the win much more here. And I'm going to go with AOP as your winners here. They could use the win much more than a Bar can. The Bar can suffer the loss more so than an AOP can as well. So I'm going to go with AOP here to win the matchup and get started off with a bang. That's the first match. It's going to be a phenomenal match no matter where they place it in the card. But it would be a good match to start the show off with. Next up, we have the Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali. Look, I gotta be honest, I had Mustafa Ali as next up after WWE Super Showdown. But I thought Cedric Alexander was gonna win that match at Super Showdown. It turns out that Buddy Murphy won the match. These two have had phenomenal matches before. I expect a phenomenal match here. At the end of the day, Buddy Murphy just really got the title. So I think they're gonna keep the title on Buddy Murphy. He's gonna go on to win there and retain the Cruiserweight Championship. So we're going to move on here to the Survivor Series Elimination Men's match, the tag team match. We have Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, The Ascension, Lucha House Party, B-Team, and the Rival versus the Usos, the New Day, the Good Brothers Sanity, and the Colognes. Look, it's tough to put Survivor Series matches, but not in these cases. Look, sometimes when you look at this card, you just have to look at who's putting what they're putting the most effort into. And I think we're going to see examples of that going forward. Just look at this listing, for example. Look at the Raw tag team roster. They had a battle royal to start the show, and Braun Strowman just ran over the entire tag division. They don't care about the Raw tag team division. So what makes you think that they're going to win this match? There's no way that the Raw tag team division wins this match. SmackDown is going to win the match. At the end of the day, I guess I'm going to go with, as it stands right now, I'm going to go with the New Day to be the sole survivors. I'm going to go with Kofi Kingston to be the sole survivor. As it stands right now, that can change. But what will not change is that SmackDown will win the Survivor Series tag team matchup. I guarantee that one. So moving on, we have Seth Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Not much build at all for this matchup. You know, Shinsuke Nakamura is just on a severe downturn. It just reminds me of him and Asuka as just taking a severe downturn after winning that Royal Rumble. It's like they didn't go with them at WrestleMania, so they've taken a steep descent ever since. And as it pertains to this match, look, it's going to be an excellent match. It's Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. They're going to tear the house down. I just wish that they would have put a wee bit more effort into it. As for the match itself, you have to wonder here if Dean Ambrose is going to show his face here and get involved. If that's the case, then Shinsuke Nakamura will win. However, I don't think they're going to have Dean Ambrose come out and bother or interfere in this match. Therefore, I have Seth Rollins picking up the victory over Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe something with Dean will happen after the match. We'll see how that goes down. But I don't think we'll see Dean Ambrose during the match getting involved. So Seth Rollins will be your winner over Shinsuke Nakamura. So next up we have the women's elimination match. We have Natalya, Mickie James. We have the Raw women's team versus the SmackDown women's team. And Charlotte Flair was on the SmackDown women's team, but now Jax injures Becky Lynch. Now Charlotte takes Becky Lynch's place in that match with Ronda Rousey. Now we have an opponent to be announced. That opponent has not been announced yet. And I gotta say, I'm gonna get to Becky Lynch. Why it's a good thing that she got knocked out for Survivor Series. Not a good thing injury-wise. You just never want to see anybody get injured. But I'm gonna tell you why it's good. It's more good than it is bad. But sticking to this match right here, once again, effort. Obviously, the Raw women's team, in my opinion, will not win here. And I think this is going to be a case to where, it seems like every year we have a moment at which somebody turns on somebody in the Survivor Series matchup, whether that be the men's, the women's, or the tag team matches. Somebody turns on somebody. I think we have the case for that happening here. We got a Natalya in the match. We got a Ruby Riott in the match. We got a Mickie James in the match. Something's going to get combustible between those three elements. And at the end of the day, the SmackDown women's team is going to go on to pick up the victory. I am going to go right now with Naomi being, I want to say Asuka, but they've been doing jack and crap with her. So I'm going to go with Naomi being the sole survivor in the Survivor Series matchup. SmackDown women's team over the Raw women's team. So, next up we have the men's elimination match. Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley versus the Miz, Shane McMahon, Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, and Jeff Hardy. So, like I said, effort. When we look at the Raw side of things, they already have a storyline built into this. Braun Strowman has to get the job done. And he has to be with Survivor Series team too. Get his hands on Baron Corbin too. Get his shot at Brock Lesnar. So that we have that storyline going on the Raw side. On the SmackDown side of things, we got Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon just weasels his way into these matches. And when I say weasels, I mean weasel. He weasels his way into these big matchups. Like every time I turn around, every big pay-per-view, there's Shane McMahon. Money, 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 money. Shane McMahon. He's in these matches. Like, jeez. It's old already. Let's do something else. The Miz in this matchup, the captain. It's quite strange because Daniel Bryan is not in this matchup. And when I tell y'all that SmackDown, that just threw me for such a loop. Like, AJ Styles is not even in this matchup, so it's real weird. And he's not listed on the show, not listed on the pay-per-view. But AJ Styles is not in this matchup. Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy are. As for the winner of the match, but before I get to that, and looking at this Raw team, we got Bobby Lashley, we got Finn Balor in there as well. And we got to look at the storylines. And there's not much storyline going on with the SmackDown team, but the Braun Strowman thing is particularly why I think the Raw men's team is going to win this match. Braun goes on to face Brock Lesnar and gets his hands on Baron Corbin after the Survivor Series matchup. I think the Raw team wins there. Braun Strowman will most indefinitely be your sole survivor in that one. So moving on, we have the SmackDown women's matchup. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. And I just gotta tell you, wrestling sometimes has a weird way of just working itself out for the greater good. And this Becky Lynch thing, look, I'm telling you, I know it's people upset, but I'm telling y'all, it's for the greater good. And I read that this theory, like, right when Becky announced it, I thought about it. I was like, that sucks. But that is really good. Because think about it like this. First of all, the last image we saw of Becky Lynch, with Ronda Rousey in a ring was her destroying Ronda Rousey and the crowd chanting one more time, one more time. That is the lasting image of blood pouring down Becky Lynch's face. That is going to be an iconic moment for Becky. That is going to be a moment to where we say, you know what? That's when it all turned around for Becky. That's when, not when it turned around. When it turned around was when she turned on Charlotte Flair officially at SummerSlam. When she reached her apex at that moment. She can't go any higher. Like, that was the big moment for Becky Lynch in her career. Look, had Becky Lynch not gotten hurt, and we need to thank Nia Jax for this, Becky Lynch would have tapped out to Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. Then after that, Becky Lynch would have gotten pushed to the side as we built to a Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair matchup at WrestleMania 35. Nobody wanted to see that. So it is pretty good. It feels like we're getting a treat by having Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair at Survivor Series. Now that's interesting to see it going down at Survivor Series. The match that we all really want to see is Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. That's gonna go down at WrestleMania. So this has all worked out for the better. Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair is gonna have a phenomenal match. It is gonna be well done. It could very well be the match of the night if they do it right. Very well could be. As for your winner, it is not in doubt. Ronda Rousey is going to get the tap out win here. Charlotte Flair will lose to Ronda Rousey. And look, it's going to be a phenomenal match. It's not going to be a one-sided match. It's not going to be a quick match. Ronda Rousey will pick up the victory here. So moving on to the final match of the night. Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. Look, when I tell y'all that I'm completely shocked by this turn of events, like I say, wrestling has a weird way of working itself out. For years now, we talked about Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. That would be a phenomenal match. I really hope they do that one day. Man, could they do that one day? Man, could they make that happen sometime? Here it is. Here it is. We got it under the darndest circumstances, though. Never in a million years did I think the day to have AJ Styles drop the title, like 4 days before Survivor Series. Never. That pretty much never happens. The champion just doesn't drop the title before the big match. So we got what we got here, though. The circumstances are what they are. We got Brock Lesnar, we got Daniel Bryan, and it is going to be a phenomenal match. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar last year. Phenomenal match. Because AJ Styles got the best out of Brock Lesnar. AJ Styles is a smaller guy, not what I would call a technically small guy. But compared to Brock Lesnar, he's really small. Daniel Bryan is your classic small guy. So we got David versus Goliath here. We got the big guy versus the little guy. And I think it's going to make for a phenomenal match. I just hope that Brock Lesnar is careful with Daniel Bryan. I mean, the guy, look, the neck issues, we don't need Brock Lesnar throwing Daniel Bryan around for goodness sake. Now, AJ Styles made him work. Now, Daniel Bryan should make him work too. This should be a phenomenal matchup. As for the result of the match, this is very tricky. Because Daniel Bryan just turned heel. You know, he just won the title. He has all of that momentum. But like I said, AJ Styles is not listed as on the card. Like, you cannot pay me in a million years to think that AJ Styles will not be on this card some way, somehow. It's AJ Styles. It's one of the top names in the company. To my understanding, he's not hurt. I've not read any reports to say that AJ Styles is hurt. So with that being said, Brock Lesnar is going to win here because AJ Styles is going to get involved. He's going to want some get back on Daniel Bryan for cheating to win. And something's going to happen. We're going to get a phenomenal form. We're going to get a Styles Clash or something from AJ Styles to Daniel Bryan. That's going to provide Brock Lesnar a way to pick up the victory at WWE Survivor Series. So that is all of the card. WWE Survivor Series, NXT Wargames. Let me know what you think about WWE Survivor Series, NXT Wargames. Let me know your thoughts, your favorite matches, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Periscope. On Periscope at 2 Sweet Wrestling Podcast, or on YouTube at OMG Corey B, or on Twitter at OMG Corey B, or at 2 Sweet POD. Let me know all your thoughts. I will respond. On that note, I am out.